Hello, and welcome back to Yap Back, the show where I yap and you yap back. I am your host, Rain. I realise I haven't really introduced myself, and I'm gonna still not introduce myself properly and move on. A disclaimer for this video: WoW and FF14 are both great games, although, in my opinion, FF14's quality of storytelling is much higher. Warcraft 3 storytelling is great, but that's not WoW. So I'm going to just come from mostly a WoW angle. But yeah, both are great. If you enjoy both games, awesome. If you enjoy one or the other, that is great too. This is more of a video because I was really looking forward to Midnight Storytelling, and at the start of Midnight and the hype of the expansion, it did really seem like the quality has gone up, and it has. The quality of storytelling throughout's gone up. The side quest storytelling's amazing, but for me, it fell a little flat at the end with the end of the March of Quel'Danas raid cutscene. I was hoping for more. I was hoping to be told in a way what Xal'atath's trying to do, or at least why she's trying to do it, rather than just sort of it being inferred that she's going down to the world soul, which we just assume, which is fine. But then, what for? Is it just for power? Is it just for survival? What she stated before, because she wants to survive. I just don't know what her motivation is. And like the best character to like translate and contrast to in FF14 with like no motivation is Xenos. But Xenos is like more threatening, I guess, because he's not trying to do all these mind games. He is very straightforward. He says what he means, and he means what he says in a way that you can almost believe him all the time. Whereas Alataph's a lot more like scheming, and it's clear there is some motivation there behind her actions. But it's just like I just want it. I'm at a point where I need something to chew on as we're like embarking deeper into the end of the World Soul Saga. So yeah, I think not. I mean, that was just one. That was just one of the cutscenes. The cutscene that really annoyed me was the ending, or the cleansing, I guess, of the Sunwell, because for me, it just it makes sense, but also like as a character in the story, how did we get from A to B? Because you know, I'm glad y'all figured out a way to cleanse it, but I haven't seen any of that. I've just gone from 1 week, we don't know what's happening. It's still the Dark World, still corrupted, and it's alluded to that we're going to be investigating it. And to me, investigating it means we're going to try and figure out. So I feel like I'm going to be on that journey of figuring and helping to figure out how we can cleanse it. Since we don't necessarily have the power of Anaru on hand like previously, so when when you get there and it's just like everyone's bringing these things to help, it's just kind of like, oh, okay. Oh, and we've cleansed it, by the way, because we know these things work. And it's just like, and and how did we get there exactly? Because that's just missing for me. And it made me realize that the key difference between WoW and FF14 storytelling is that in WoW you're much more of a fly on the wall. So if you happen to be there when when things are going on, then you'll know about it. However, if you're not there when things happen, you won't know about it, and there's not really any way to find out. Whereas in FF14, you are the story. You're in cutscenes. It is based around you, the Warrior of Light, and you know, even if you miss things, you literally have a power to be able to see it through a flashback. So it's like you can never miss anything in some regards, in some respects, and that I think is what makes storytelling in FF14 that much more compelling for me, because I'm seeing everything, and obviously it has its drawbacks as well. Let's take Dawntrail pacing for example. It was one of those where it's just like, so in that art of seeing everything and being involved in everything, we're in literally everything, and therefore things can get a bit draining pace wise if things aren't wrapped up, or if like for with Dawntrail, sorry, the quality of writing being not as good as we hope, or even to the extent of there's a lot less direction in Dawntrail, and I think that adds to the whole scope of feeling like, oh, do we need to be seeing everything really, or do we need to be going everywhere and doing everything? So I think that's like what I kind of just an epiphany. You know, it's probably not that big an epiphany, and people realize this already. In that, just like, oh, what I was hoping for in the WoW storytelling in terms of feeling much more involved in terms of the quality and in terms of the experience, it's definitely improved, but it's just not on the scale of FF14, and especially like now, with Evercold's announcement and with all the new customizations, it really does show the disparity of the character focus in FF14, and it really being like FF14 is your story. Even the options to choose dialogue, and those dialogues will have really subtle changes. I think it's huge. Like, one that immediately comes to mind is with the choice between Vinar and Hydaelyn in Endwalker, and like one reaction versus the other. It's such a subtle difference, but it's such a huge difference at the same time. So yeah, I think it's hard because they're different games in terms of what their focus is. WoW is very combat focused, where FF14 is very story focused. But it's one of those where WoW has some really amazing characters that you want to follow. And after playing Warcraft 3 and then coming back into WoW, it is definitely that there's definitely some level of nostalgia and hanging on to those characters from Warcraft 3, because Warcraft 3 established them so well and established their arcs and their character build up, whereas it's much harder to navigate that within World of Warcraft. Even with like Sylvanas coming back at the end of Midnight, I mean, for me personally, I really just consider Sylvanas' story to be from like Warcraft 3 up until like pre-Legion even, because afterwards it just doesn't like make sense in her character and really contradicts her character and the whole story that she's about, but I guess that's a topic for another video. But yeah, it's just like WoW has really iconic and standout characters that you want to follow, and again, in that desire of following them, that is how the storytelling is played out. Is that you're experiencing these character stories, where FF14 has a great supporting cast with you involved, and they have really iconic characters too. But you are the story, and because you're the story, it definitely makes it feel so much more personable, and it definitely gets you that much more immersed into the story, I think. And again, having the minor choices and minor subtle discrepancies in character reactions to what you choose to say with the options just homes in that feeling of that you actually have an impact on the narrative and the world around you, which obviously makes it feel much more reactionary and alive, which you are getting. Like, there's been elements in WoW storytelling, like I think of Legion Glass Souls, where you did have that feeling of impact in relation to the world, but I think it's just one of those where it's not necessarily like really hammered in as much as it is in 14. So yeah, this was just a quick ramble on that epiphany of mine. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and as always, comment down below your thoughts on the differences you find or what you prefer in storytelling wise between WoW and FF14, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Thank you.